Welcome everyone to another edition of Up Close with Solarplaza, an interview where we get a chance to dive deep into a specific topic with market experts. Today we'll be discussing storage in the Netherlands. Our speaker today is Koen Broess. Koen, thank you for joining.
Thanks, Alfonso. Yeah, my name is Koen Broess. I'm a member of the executive board of Energy Storage NL. Energy Storage NL is already having more than 100 members connected to energy storage in the Netherlands, and basically is promoting, networking, lobbying, but also having different task forces on certain topics like safety of energy storage systems, but also business cases as well. So yeah, happy to be here.
Great, thanks for that. I guess to start, maybe we can start a bit with what the Energy Storage Association has been doing in the last couple of years, more specifically on the regulation and lobbying side. Could you go in depth with that, please?
Yeah, so the last years, I would say the double taxation was an issue, and finally it got removed now this year. So it was great work. So there was really intense lobbying of Energy Storage NL with the national government, but yeah, it takes always a little bit longer than you expect. But finally, it got through, so that's great. So that's a big step, removing that kind of barrier for energy storage projects in the Netherlands. But still, I would say there are some barriers left. So now Energy Storage NL is really lobbying and talking to the government and authority bodies, basically, to remove grid costs for energy storage systems. And that will even, if that barrier is removed, then future looks even more bright, I would say, for energy storage in the Netherlands.
Great. Thanks for that. Then moving on, now we've kind of addressed a bit on the regulation side. Can you kind of enlighten us why it's so important to fight for storage? What are all the benefits that storage can provide for the grid?
Yeah, I think energy storage is really a key for our future energy grid and the energy transition in general, I would say. Of course, we have there are a lot of new solar and wind parks coming online in the coming years. There's great developments, also offshore wind in the Netherlands on the North Sea. But all this intermittent energy needs to be mitigated. And so you need some flexibility in the system. And of course, you have multiple ways to provide flexibility. But energy storage is one of the, I would say, a very good option to provide this flexibility. So if there is an oversupply of renewable energy, then you can just charge the energy storage systems. And when there's a shortage of, then you can discharge. So I would say there's a perfect match for energy storage and for renewable energy, I would say.
Great, good to hear. And aside from these, essential, let's say, tasks that storage can help facilitate, what are other added values that maybe not everyone is aware that is possible inside the storage?
Yeah, so ancillary services, so basically to keep the grid balanced at 50 hertz is a basic service already globally now energy storage is providing. In the past, this kind of service was basically done by conventional power plants, coal-fired power plants, gas-fired power plants. But yeah, because we mothball these plants or we phasing them out, then you need other systems taking over that the grid is kept stable. And I mean, electricity is essential for a country, of course. So yeah, that is one of the actually key services at the moment that energy storage systems can provide at the moment. But yeah, the interesting thing is that you can provide many more things with energy storage. That makes it a little bit more complex maybe than, well, with solar or wind, you just provide electricity, which is very good, of course. But with energy storage, you have multiple options to choose for which kind of service you want to provide. Makes it sometimes a little bit more complicated to find the right business case, or to maybe you need to stack. So sometimes maybe you can do the peak shifting. So that means that you charge your energy storage systems during the day from your solar park, and then discharge during the evening. So basically peak shifting. You also can, let's say the solar park can have a limited grid connection even, and you can still provide all the renewable energy to the grid. So that is one service you can do, but then maybe during the night you can provide this grid balancing, this ancillary services to keep the grid at 50 hertz. So these different revenue streams you need to consider for building your business case, which makes it exciting, I would say, but also well, a little bit difficult sometimes, and also because there are basically regulations, and sometimes they prevent that you can provide a certain service. The good part is that in the Netherlands, at least the ancillary services is already perfectly matched for energy storage systems. So already today, many systems are providing this kind of service in the Netherlands. And because we have also congested areas, I expect that in the near future, the coming years, it's becoming more and more important to, if we want to keep increasing the amount of renewables in our system, we also need, especially in congested areas, we need to consider, okay, maybe we need to what we call co-locate energy storage system with our wind park, our solar park. Yeah, so that is something is now coming up in the market. Still some barriers, but I would say, especially in congested areas, sometimes this is the only option you have if you want to increase the amount of renewables in your system.
Mm-hmm. Great, thanks. Yeah, thanks for that detailed explanation. I think you already touched upon it at the beginning and kind of what Energy Storage Netherlands does, but it seems that for storage in particular, you know, you really have to take into account more stakeholders than, let's say, a regular solar project. Do you want to expand a bit more on what ESNL does in terms of bringing stakeholders together and how important the collaboration between stakeholders really is when trying to make a successful project?
Yeah, absolutely. So some of the members of Energy Storage NL are industry, manufacturers, but developers as well. Especially the DSOs are member of Energy Storage NL. So it's good to have them because basically they also want to be ready for the grid of tomorrow, basically. So, and they see also that energy storage can play an important role. And it's good to realize maybe that you have different technologies. So you have what we call fast or short duration storage, but you have also duration for longer times, and everything is covered by energy storage now. So from, let's say, short duration batteries, flywheels, to maybe mid duration like flow batteries, and longer duration like, for example, hydrogen storage. That might be also very interesting if you need basically energy for longer times, I would say. So every technology is and also the different stakeholders are represented in Energy Storage NL. And it's good to have this broader view on the market. So it's not only a small part of the market, but it is a broader view with a lot of stakeholders involved. And I think that is needed to bring this even one step further, I would say.
Great. Yeah. Thanks for that. Yeah, it is pretty clear that for the energy transition, you know, every stakeholder needs to play its part, particularly in storage. You know, at times it may seem like a bit tougher than just a solar project, but with the right combination of people, I'm sure it's possible, particularly in the Netherlands. Speaking on what is already possible, do you want to tell us a bit about, you know, the future outlook for storage projects in the Netherlands? Has there been some in development? There's definitely some already operational, but do you want to expand a bit more on what's currently happening?
Yeah, absolutely. So we see now the first utility scale energy storage systems being developed. So that's very good news. A few years ago, it was mostly pilots, but now it's more and more becoming commercial. Still, I mean, we have some speakers talking more in depth about this topic. But to give you one example, one of the barriers is the grid cost. So if you charge your energy storage system from the grid side, then yeah, you have some higher operational cost. So at the moment, a lot of the energy storage systems being developed in the Netherlands commercially are being or co-located with wind and solar, or what we call behind or in a closed distribution system. Again, with wind and solar parks, because then you can avoid the grid costs. And that's making the business case more interesting at the moment. We expect and we hope that in a few years' times, the grid cost will be at least maybe partly be removed. And then I think also in what we call in front of the meter energy storage systems, we will see in the Netherlands, because at the moment that is a little bit more difficult. But yeah, behind, well, not really behind the meter, but behind a closed distribution system or co-located, it's already makes sense. And several projects at the moment are being developed, and it's going quite fast, I would say. Still, if we compare the Netherlands to our neighbor countries, Belgium, Germany, UK, we see that they may be even going a little bit faster because they have specific incentives or they have specific auctions, for example, to even incentivize the market faster. For example, in Germany, you have auctions specifically for solar and storage. We've not seen that yet in the Netherlands, but I know that they're also talking about, can we incentivize, can we maybe subsidize, can we remove barriers to speed up the market a little bit in the Netherlands as well. So there's absolutely possibilities in the Netherlands as well. But yeah, the first commercial projects are being developed for specific markets, and hopefully if a few of the barriers are being removed, then it will be even, the developments will be even faster, I would say.
Great. Thanks for that breakdown. So clearly there is a lot to talk about in the storage world, particularly in the Netherlands. A lot still to be done. For everyone who tuned in, Koen Broess will actually be the keynote speaker giving the opening presentation at our storage event in the Netherlands. It'll take place on the 29th of March in Amsterdam. Koen, thank you very much for your time. I look forward to seeing you there.
Absolutely. Thanks, Alfonso.